I just like having one in because with two of them in, I feel like I'm screaming.
I can hear you perfectly fine. So,
All right.
what's up, everybody? Jake here with Welch's Garage and Customs, and this is my co-host.
My name's Dakota Payton with Caney Creek Trucking LLC, owner-operator.
Also known as Coda Kid on Instagram and TikTok.
Scratch Junior if you see me out on the road anywhere.
Yeah. So this is kind of our introduction, take 3, because we done a whole show a while ago and didn't have no sound. But this is our introduction. This is the Liar's Table. It's pretty much just a podcast about just crazy, wild stories from hometowns. Our hometown's pretty small. We've got one caution light, and for a while we didn't even have a Barney Fife.
Yeah, we've got a 4-way stop, a couple of gas stations, a Dollar General, and a Family Dollar. So,
Hey, we've got $2 Generals.
hey, there you go.
One of them's in the exact same Dollar Tree.
Yeah, we're high class around here, as we say.
Yeah,
But
about 30 minutes from Walmart and
Yep.
about any civilization.
yeah, they haven't invested much in this little old town in the past 30 years since
Yeah.
we've been around. So
Shoot, back when we was kids, I heard stories about them having
Caneyville
a skating ring and everything.
Caneyville used to be the hot spot back in the day. I think people used to come from near and far to hang out in Caneyville, but it's kind of a ghost town anymore.
Yeah, but yeah, what this podcast is about is mostly just wild stories that we grew up with. We'll tell you some of ours, and we'll have some co-hosts in here, and they'll tell you their wild stories. And
Yeah, we'd like to have some guests on here, some other small business owners or, people with like interest. Hell, anybody, honestly. We just want it to be kind of a place to come and hang out. It's kind of like I was telling Jake in our, take 1 out of 3.
yeah,
As a kid, growing up, my dad used to wake me up early in the morning. We would either go down here to Caneyville or Millwood or somewhere, and there'd be a little mom and pop store or something that somebody had, and you walk in and you seen this table, and there was just a group of old guys sitting around, and Dad tell you pull up a seat, and you'd sit there and you'd think, man, these guys are full of shit. And then, time goes on, and Jake's 30, I'm 29, I'll be 30 this year, and you got stories of your own, and still to this day, I'll go sit at one of them tables. We've got a place here in Millwood, local, and I'll go down there and sit around guys that I've grown up around for years and years. And I can swap my stories with them now, and I'm like, man, these guys are pretty cool.
yeah. Bad thing is if you sit there and talk to the young kids, they're probably thinking you're full of shit now.
Yeah, we're the old heads now, I guess you could say, but.
I know I've got some I've told, and people's like, "There's no way." I'm like, yeah. Ask some people.
Yeah, it sounds crazy to say you've done a lot in 30 years, but when you sit back and think about it, 30 years is a long time because you never thought you'd be here, really.
I know I didn't.
I know it's wild to think 10 years ago we was in high school and didn't have a clue what we'd be doing. Me and Jake here, we haven't always been real close. We've always known of each other, but here in the past 2 years probably?
Yeah. We shared the principal's office in school.
Yeah, they we probably wore a hole in the seat, but
I know I was there about every day or every other day.
Hell, I can remember when I was in elementary school, I'd walk through the doors of the school and they'd give me detention for walking in.
Oh, in school detention, they made you do all your work. You had to look out the front window.
I got to sit in Miss Katie's counselor office one time for about a week, and there was a tub of double bubble gum in there.
You done chewed it all
up? Oh,
up?
man, I'd chew that. I'd even swallow it. It's so good back in.
Oh.
But no, we, like I said, this is our third take doing this, but hey, we're figuring it out as we go. I'm sorry for our lack of the liar's table and our little makeshift thrown together setup here. Credit to Jake. He come up with all this and actually made it work. It's not too bad of a setup there, buddy, but we just kind of want to step out of our comfort zone, do something different. we feel like we have a lot of mutual interest with guys out there, like and or gals, girls, guys and girls alike that are maybe involved in the trucking industry, the building industry, mechanic industry, hot rods, choppers, or whatever you do for work, small business. We really want to advocate for people like that. So that's kind of why we're doing this. And even if we have a guest on, if you'd like to come in and pull up a chair and sit down with us and shoot the bull, as we call it, reach out to us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook.
Yep.
Probably post some on Instagram. I don't really
all
use
under
Instagram,
the exact same name, the Liars Table.
Yeah, and pull up a seat, talk to us. Even if we don't have nothing to talk about, we'll sit here and ramble. And
we'll find something.
Maybe that could help somebody. So
we've done that a lot.
It's I told Jake, I sat there and watched about 2 minutes of a video of us talking to ourselves with no audio, and I was kind of afraid I wasn't going to be able to come up with anything to talk about. But
yeah.
So what do you guys? Let's kind of talk about the TikTok thing again.
Oh, the one that lasted a total of maybe 12 hours.
Yeah, if that. You wake up this morning, it's like habit. Yeah. It's kind of like you said. What was it earlier? How'd you put it? It basically a habit. You open your phone and you hit TikTok and you're trying to scroll and you got that message that pops up and it's like temporarily out of service or something. You finally get on the video and it plays about 2 seconds of it and then it just quits and you're like, man, this is the end of an era.
Yeah.
And then
was a habit getting up and just clicking Facebook or TikTok.
And then Jake walks in the garage and he's sorry, we're filthy, guys. We've been working the past 2.5 days. Just got a trailer road out of here. Been putting bushings and brakes on it. And let me tell you, that was not a fun job. But, hey, this guy right here, he helped out a lot. He come up with some ideas to make things work a little bit easier. But there we go, getting off topic again. TikTok. Jake walks in the garage, and he's like, hey, man, look what's back up already. And I'm like, I told you it wouldn't last.
I was scared. I won't lie.
Yeah, Jake even made a farewell video last night.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, and it is.
They done took Pornhub away, so.
I hear you. Well, but no, on a serious note, like TikTok it's been a major platform for people. Kind of just an escape for the past 4 years?
Yeah. It's not just funny cat videos or the trending dances. Like, you got to think TikTok was like that place. I know a mother that she wouldn't post anything on Facebook, but she would post it on TikTok because that was her escape. Because, some people might know her, but it wasn't like Facebook people that really knew her.
Yeah, and you legitimately can build a community of people who genuinely care and love you and want to see you do good. And look at all the small businesses that utilize TikTok and that platform to get their name out there, or the small creators and even your big creators. Like, it's weird sitting in front of, right now we're using a phone to record this podcast, and it's weird sitting here looking at that phone trying to talk to people on the other side of the screen, That's something for me that's just, I'm not very good at it, and that's one reason I probably haven't gained the following on socials that I would like to have, or this and that. And it's weird that you even want something like that, because you have your daily life. And even those people that are making, maybe making a living off of TikTok. I know you're a brand ambassador, and you make income that you depend on. Maybe tell some people about that and how small businesses utilize social platforms like that.
I started off just like everybody else. I was just jumping on the trending videos here and there, got my followings up, and I started getting people that actually watched some of my videos. One of them was whenever I was first learning how to do a lot of body work.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just bought the tools and started doing it.
I remember you saying there was a video that one of your first ones, and I can remember how you said it. You said, do it to the best of your
Yep.
abilities.
And that was told by a man up here. I was at his shop, and he was an excellent body guy. And he told me, he said, it might not be perfect for everybody, but I done it at the best of my ability. So that's the only thing I can tell you to do. Just do everything at the best of your ability. And that stuck with me.
Yeah,
So,
and it's kind of like we were talking earlier when we were sitting here trying to figure this whole thing out. Not being afraid to start, or not trying because you're worried about where you're at trying to start. Man, take it from me, take it from Jake. I started a small trucking company. I've got 3 trucks, 2 that are most of the time working. I'm blessed. I've got a lot of work that's here local. I'm normally home every night. I was able to give my dad something to do while also doing something that I love. I think it's funny, looking back in high school, I played football all my life, and I've had people tell me, and even Jake's told me, he's like, man, I never pictured you being the guy being a truck driver. But what a lot of people, well, they probably know now through, my brother being on socials and my dad being on socials and everything. I grew up around the trucking industry. Jake grew up, and him and his dad were, wreckers and towing and mechanic shops. And Jake's a lot more inclined in a lot more areas than I am. I've still got a lot of learning to do, but it doesn't matter where you are or how much you have. If you've got a dream and you can sit down and make some type of a plan just to get you started, go for it. Because I started on nothing but hopes and prayers.
Yep.
And people may see the trucks or see things that I've got or that I'm doing, or even things you've got or that you're doing, and think, man, they're just lighting it up. Yeah. It ain't that way. No. Don't be fooled by what you see on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Don't be fooled by those things, because it's hard. Jake's, you're just now trying to start up a new little gig.
Yeah.
He's got a wrecker he's building, and I'm trying to help him, and he's helping me in a lot of ways. So, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but don't be afraid to take the leap, and don't think just because this person has this or this person's here that you can't do it because you're not exactly where they are.
I know you're not probably in the whole Bluey field with your chip or your little daughter right now.
Oh, no, she loves Bluey.
But,
Bluey is like top tier.
Yeah. And so I like Bluey. And there was that one episode that's talking about run your own race.
Yep.
And, I mean, that hit me because I remember there was kids in our school that I was kind of an envy of what they had.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Everybody goes through that.
And I'm like, man, I wish I had that. And now I've built it to that point, and where they got their stuff given to them, I'm still.
And there's nothing wrong with having things given to you. Some people, that's just how life is for them. And other people, it's not that way. But you can't play the victim card and woe is me. If you want it, you got to get it.
Yep.
That's just like what we're doing here. We were talking on Snapchat one day like, hey, man, Jake messaged me, and I can't remember exactly what you had going on, but you were like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. And I was like, well, I've got a great idea for a name. Why don't we give it a shot? So we have the Liars Table. Minus the table right now, but we're working on it. We'll have some better sets or some better setup in the near future, but you can't just snap your fingers and have what you want. It don't work like that for some people.
It's like I told you earlier, it was like Well, if we're gonna do the podcast, we just gotta go ahead and do it. We can worry about the table and all
Yeah.
that later
Yeah,
on.
I'm over here working on a trailer trying to fix a light, getting aggravated as all get out, and I see Jake over here, he's setting up mics, and I'm like, well, I guess we're going to shoot an episode of the Liar's Table today. So you see our little setup, it's, you got to start somewhere. That's basically the message that we've been rambling on for about the past 5 minutes here, but.
And back to the whole TikTok thing, there's a lot of creators. I call them influencers because I consider myself as an influencer. I'm just trying to get someone out there doing what they want, what they really like to do, just try and teach them some things. But there's a lot of actual creators. Like, there's a lot of musicians that got their career kicked off by TikTok. I've got a friend up the road that he was one of them people. He had to... He asked me, he said, Jake, you don't mind, can you share some of my stuff? TikTok won't let me go live until I have 1,000 followers. So I'd share his stuff. And since then, he's took off, and actually he opened up for a big guy not too long ago, couple months ago.
Yep.
And his big guy was
Elvie Shane.
His brother.
Most people, it seems like in my hometown, I'm Scratch's boy or Elvie Shane's brother. But yeah, man, Elvie had a lot of success on TikTok, especially when he come out with My Boy, and that was so cool to see, man. How many people that touched, and just the response to a song. It's like we were talking earlier. It's wild to think that something you think is so small because it's so accessible and it's right there at your fingertips, An app as simple as TikTok. You press a button and there's the world. And you just flip through and you see all these people that were touched by that, and Facebook and even Instagram and everything. It's just, it's amazing to think that something that you think is just normal could change somebody's life forever.
And the thing about TikTok was it reached more people. That was the thing about TikTok. A buddy of mine that lives up the road, that he got his career off TikTok, was he told me, he's like, I'd get a few thousand that watch my video on TikTok, and Facebook I might got 5.
Oh yeah.
It's all about who you really know, who you're in, or if you got the right hashtags and all that.
Well, there's that, what's that word they use, the algorithm?
Yeah.
You got to play that card right. I ain't figured that thing out yet.
You got to dance.
Yeah, we'll have to get some more followers before I do any kind of dances. But I might do the boot, scoot, and boogie for the night's over. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
But yeah, a lot of TikTok creators depended on that. I done the TikTok shop for a while, and I know a lot of people hated the whole TikTok shop because it was the exact same thing, and I tried to do my videos a little bit differently, but I got hooked in with a company that's great. I love them. You used them before I even became a
before
master.
I even knew that it was a big a deal as it was. That we just thought we was buying another toolbox or buying another heater. It's crazy.
And I'm sure everybody knows it. It's Vivor, and they've sent me a bunch of stuff. I'm always trying stuff out.
Yeah, we've got plenty of Vivor tools here in the garage, and it's crazy that something like this is even a topic like we're talking about. Yeah. But it's not in a way, because had we or do we lose this app, how many people it truly affects, and there's the people that are like, oh, well, now you got to go find a real job. Well, you know what? It is a real job for some people. It may be the only thing that they can do right now to get them through a hard time. And we all know about hard times. Yeah. 2024, and even the years before that, it seems like for the past 4 or 5 years, there's just been this lingering cloud of doom. that just follows you around everywhere you go, and no matter how hard you try, or no matter how far you try to push it to the limits, it seems like every time you get ahead, something's waiting at the back door to sneak in and kind of punch you in the mouth. And
Well, I know some families, they went out and because of TikTok, they was actually able to stay at home, be a
oh
stay at
yeah,
home parent, and they could actually spend a lot more time with their kids. And who wouldn't want that? I'm sure that you wish your dad sat
oh
there and
yeah,
stayed home a lot more whenever
yeah.
he was
You know,
truck
growing
driving.
up, my dad was gone a lot. It wasn't as bad for me as it was for my older siblings, probably. You know, um, I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time in the truck with my dad, a lot of quality time. And, it wasn't like that throughout the whole span of things, but that was something I looked forward to. Back then, of course, we didn't have all these apps
Yeah.
and stuff. And I almost wish we did, because I could have documented those
Yep.
memories.
Yeah.
All I have is my mind to depend on, or maybe some pictures we took with a film camera
Yeah.
back then.
Oh, disposable
Yeah,
camera.
like here we are sitting at the liar's table talking like a couple of old men. We got film cameras, but that was life back then, and you lived in the moment so
Yeah.
much more.
It, kids these days, they don't have no idea how it was. I remember Dad, he'd fire up summertime. I spent my whole summer with Dad.
Oh yeah,
And I'd be getting up, and it would be the crack of dawn. It would be about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. As sun's coming up, and Dad would get me up. I'd mose along, get in the old rollback or wrecker, and he kept a thermos with him, and he had a big old coffee mug, and I don't know how that coffee mug always stayed on the dash, but it was a glass coffee mug.
Yeah.
It wasn't plastic. It
Yeah.
was a legitimate coffee mug, and he'd sit it on the dash of the old square body, and we'd go down the road, and we'd turn out from where I live now, and
yeah,
we'd be sitting there, and I'd hear that old 350 go. Whoa. He's like, "Come on, Betsy, warm up," and he'd have me a pack of Little Debbie donuts and
yeah.
a little chocolate milk or whatever. And
Yeah,
we'd
that
be
was
on the
one
road.
thing I always remember as a kid. You was kind of talking about the sound of that old 350. I can remember when I was little, I'd be in the bed, and I'd feel the house start to shake. We lived in, well, we still do. My mom and dad still do. We lived in a little basement house, and Dad would fire up one of them trucks. Sometimes it was in the middle of the night, sometimes it was early in the morning. But that thing would fire up, and you'd feel the house shake.
Yeah.
And you could hear it, and I knew Dad was getting ready to go. And sometimes he'd come in there, and kind of like your dad
Yeah.
was, I can remember one time, if I'm not mistaken, my dad told my mom he was going to drop me off at school in the big truck, because everybody used to love seeing the big truck rolling out there at the new Caneyville school. And I can remember one time vividly. We rode right through the four-way stop there, and Dad kind of looked over at me, grinned, and I looked back at him, and I just kind of shook my head, and I knew we was gone.
We wasn't going to school today.
We wasn't going to school today, and we was probably somewhere hooked to a cow trailer and running out west. But, man, those were just, like I said, that stuff I'll cherish forever, and it was different back then. We didn't have so much that impeded on our lives, or with as good as they are, it's also, you find yourself clinging to your phone and stuff nowadays. And it's just, I think that's a lot of the problem with the world, is people just are so used to having something right there in front of their face that they forget to take time out and, hang out like me and you have been trying to hang out, or hang out with an old friend, or, get out and walk through the woods like we used to when we was kids. I can't tell you anything more refreshing than just like when it snowed here a couple days ago. We hooked the half fender behind the Jeep and was pulling ourselves around. I was like, man, why don't I do this stuff more often,
That brought back memories back when we lived behind the old truck stop
Yep.
up the road. Dad done that with old truck hoods.
Knowing that at any point Jake's foot might turn into a lead block, and I get slung from A to Izzard on that thing. But hey, we were having fun. But
Yeah, that's why I like them videos on TikTok or even Facebook. You see, like it brings back memories.
Yeah, you get a glimpse into, and you might think that stuff's gone, and then you see a video or something online, and you're like, there's still people out there doing that. There's still people like me and you.
I seen one. It was back in the early 2000s, and it showed this little kid going out, and he got a PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Like he was unwrapping his PlayStation 2 for Christmas. And that hit me right here because I remember I was probably that kid back in 2002 getting that PlayStation 2. And mine and your parents struggled about the exact same way. So
yeah, I always pick at my dad, him and some of the older guys around. They tell me how hard it was back in the day and how difficult, trying to do something on your own was, or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, hey, y'all got to realize it's 2025, and this is a tough world we live in. It is hard to make it. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're working at McDonald's, if you're working at Walmart, if you're trying to do something on your own. It does not matter. It is a hard way to go.
And I get all the time, social media helps out a lot.
Yeah.
But it also hurts you also because I've came to the realization if you don't know somebody or whatever, you go try to get some work here and there and they don't really know you, they're still not going.
Oh,
you might be the best mechanic and best truck driver around, and if they don't know you, guess what? You're not going to get it.
Yeah, and especially in the last year, I think people were just scared to try and do anything new or to get into anything new. Just with everybody was so uncertain, and there were so many unknowns in the world. And it's like I was talking to somebody. It might have been you, but I was at the tattoo parlor Friday, and I was sitting there, and I asked my tattoo artist. I was like, "Does the world just feel weird to you nowadays? Doesn't it just kind of feel weird? Like you wake up and things just don't feel normal." And I don't know that she said it somehow. There was a post she seen on Facebook or something that said, "Normal's not coming back, but Jesus is."
Yeah.
So it's weird, man. It's crazy the way that things change, and as you get older, you start to realize more.
They've changed so much since 2020. For me, I've sat there and talked. Dr. Pepper don't even taste right. They've changed so much stuff.
Man, nothing tastes right.
Mozzarella cheese don't taste the same. The Dr. Pepper don't taste the same. It was like they're trying.
You're taking all the good away from our lives.
It was like the government's trying to help you, but they're just worried about filling their own pockets.
That's like going and getting parts. So Friday, my dad's over here working on the truck, trying to put brakes on it. You go up and you spend no telling how much money.
$1,100, he told me.
Not even a reason to put a freaking price tag on it nowadays. You go up there, you get the parts, you make it all the way home, you open up the box, and you got the wrong thing. And I'm like, man, I get it. I know. There may be somebody in there that doesn't know what they're doing, and it's probably not even their fault. Probably the dealer's fault or the manufacturer's fault. But it's just like you can't depend on anything anymore, and you try to still, and it's kind of like you said. Don't be afraid, because there's always going to be hiccups. There's always going to be obstacles. There's going to be something. It's going to be a Saturday afternoon, and everybody's going to be closed, and you're going to be needing some kind of part, and you're going to have to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah.
To get you till Monday so you can go get what you need to fix it right. But you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, MacGyver it all.
Yeah, you got to, it's kind of like lifting a rear axle on a trailer with a 4x4, a floor jack, and a tarp strap, You just got to make it work.
We could have used about one more person, but we got it done.
We could have used at least one more, maybe two more people, but
that was a job. But 12 hours later,
Here
got-
we sit. We obviously we're not working too hard right now. I was about done with working on stuff after I got done with them lights earlier.
yeah,
I do not enjoy wiring.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But I'm like Chang off of a Hangover. I'm colorblind.
Yeah, I hear you.
I see light gray, medium, dark gray.
Yeah,
What?
it doesn't matter if you're colorblind or not. When the crimpers ain't working and you've went through 15 butt connectors, you start to get a little aggravated. But, yeah, I don't know, man. We thought that we would try something new, and as you can see, we've started rambling again, maybe
Yep.
about some of the same stuff we were talking about before, but it's a shame we had a 35, 40-minute video recorded with no sound, because I feel like for an introductory video, we were doing pretty good for two old boys that don't know what they're doing at all.
Yeah, but pretty much this is just a podcast about stories and kind of what we're doing. He said at the first podcast that y'all don't get to hear, we're going to try to post more stuff on our actual
Yeah.
social medias.
Little bit of insight into what we do day to day.
And we might sit there and share some stuff about what you all do from day to day on the Liars Table podcast.
Yeah, I
channel.
don't want people to look at this and think that it's just a joke. Like, we're being serious. We think this would be something cool to have in our little area, and maybe give people a sense of getting out, or maybe somebody's looking for something to do one Friday evening or Saturday or Sunday, and they're like, hey man, let's go down here and see what these boys are into. So we want everybody and anybody that would be interested in coming and hanging out, pulling up a chair to the Liars Table. And like I said, we don't have to have topics. We don't have to have a schedule. We just want people to come and chill out, maybe have a drink every now and then, and sit and decompress and tell stories.
And we plan on doing some bigger stuff this year too. You're talking about a truck show, and
Yeah.
I'm slowly accumulating all the stuff for a drive-in. So
Yeah, we are currently in a garage that we're renting from a family friend here around home. Been super blessed to have it because it's helped my business out a lot, and also been able to help some other people, make a little revenue, and try to do some things that we weren't or didn't initially think we would be doing.
Can
But
you imagine putting that rear end out there in the
oh
gravel?
my goodness,
with
20
this
degrees
weather?
outside, wind blowing, snow spitting. That would have been, yeah, I probably would have just stayed at the house and hid for a couple of days. But no, we would. I'm just the type of person, I want to bring something different and bring a little more excitement, something to do to our hometown.
Yeah.
It's like we was talking earlier. It kind of feels like a ghost town, and I love Caneyville. I don't ever see myself ever being anywhere else.
I left there, then I come back.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. They leave and they show right back up, and I think that's a story in a lot of small towns. But my roots are here. My family's here. I've got a great support system at home. My mom and my dad are partners in my business. I've got an awesome wife and a daughter at the house that support me and keep me going. They're my reasons every day. And I've had a lot of things, and I'm sure you have too, that have punched you in the mouth and kicked you in the gut. But you got to have people around you that'll tell you, hey, we can't stop. We got to go.
Yeah. And hopefully with this being our small town and stuff, and shoot, our backdrop might change a couple times. We might be at our local restaurant.
Hey, you might see us sitting in the middle of the four-way stop one day. Who knows?
I don't know about that. But shoot, you was talking about Millwood's Liars Table. Shoot, might get lucky. We might be at the legitimate Liars
We'll
Table.
go up there and let y'all, see or learn from the people we've learned from all our lives,
And we can't really go at the original Liars Table because it's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. It's kind of like the wind. time just blows on by, and then things change, and new seasons of life come, and that's one thing I've always not wanted to do, is just let myself get so content that I'm just, I love being home, but my wife knows, and my family knows that I'm just an antsy person.
Yeah.
I have to be doing something. I can't sit still. I blame it on my dad.
I can see it right now. You're moving your legs.
Yeah, I can't stop. My dad told me when he was little and he used to get in trouble, he used to always scuff his feet around like an old chicken. His grandma used to tell him, and they started calling him Scratch. And I'm telling you, anything that's wrong with me, I got it from my daddy. But no, I love Dad, and he's helped me out a lot, man. But they, like I said, they call me Scratch Jr. nowadays. It's kind of like that Stephen Wilson Jr. song. I used to hate being called Junior, but I don't mind it any longer. So it's pretty cool.
Luckily, I was never a junior, but everybody wants to call me by my dad's first name.
Yeah.
I was buying my house from our constable, and he used to call me Little Mike all the time, and I'm like, I'm Jake. He's like, no, you're Little Mike, and your dad's Big Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like Jake here. Unfortunately, he lost his dad, and I've still got mine, and that's one thing. It's kind of cool because my dad is just the same with everybody, and he kind of treats you like he treats me. Gets aggravated at you and stuff. But it's cool to have, man. And I don't know.
It's like yesterday, whenever he's fussing, I'm like, okay, Dad.
Yeah, okay, Dad. Yeah, I've had some bosses in my time. There was one guy that I worked for down there when I was spraying crop and learning how to drive a truck and stuff. And I used to always pick at him whenever I could tell he was getting frustrated or getting aggravated. I'd call him Dad and rub his shoulders or something a little bit and get that smile out of him, man. And that might have fixed his whole day. I don't know. You never know, but life's wild. It's fun, but it's wild.
Yeah, that's why we're just living it as we are.
Yeah,
just go out and do the things that you want to do.
It's like
we're doing now.
It's like whenever we started talking about this. What was it we said? If we're gonna do it, we just got to do it. I guess the reason Jake brought everything over today. I didn't know we was gonna do this, but we've done it 3 times now, and I'm hoping that this time is the time y'all get to hear us. Hey, y'all should have seen. I hope Jake has at least one of the videos where we've got some bloopers, because we were having a ball with this little sound machine here. It's got all kinds of different features on it.
Yeah, hopefully by our next video or stuff, the monitor can actually be closer to us, so I can play with it.
We plan to go live on TikTok now that it's back, and we're back.
YouTube and Facebook.
I don't know how much will be on Instagram. We may kind of put our name out there. I just don't use Instagram that much, man. It seems like it's kind of fell off unless you're just a really big creator.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like Facebook, but, man, Facebook has been tried and true. I've been in Facebook jail a few times, but, The
only reason why I like Facebook is, especially for this, a lot of people that we grew up with, or even when we start telling our stories, they're going to be like, yep, I know that.
There's not much that we could lie about around here, because if we're lying, somebody's going to call us out on it, and they're going to tell the truth.
Yeah. I done a video a while back. It made me laugh. I thought Mom never knew about it.
Yeah.
Back in high school, me and a ex-girlfriend was seeing each other, and I was supposed to be home at 10 o'clock. And I come down Hopewell, and I managed. I'm still really shocked on it, but I managed to go from the other side of Hopewell to Do-Stop in like 10 minutes. And I was hauling butt.
He hit that, he had the flux capacitor hooked up on that one.
I sat there and I come out, and as we hit Majors over here, like, it's got that little straight stretch.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see Majors. And whenever I hit that, I just stomped the gas, and you hear the 4-barrel kick in on the old square body. And as I hit the tracks, right before I hit the tracks, our cop
Yeah.
came across, and I'm like, crap. I'm like, do I let up? Nope.
Nope. We
Nope.
got to go now.
And before it's been fixed now. It's not as bad as it was, but it used to have a real bad dip, and I hit that dip so hard in that truck that truck went airborne, and I landed on the oncoming traffic. And
My brother tells a story all the time about how he would be with my papa, and papa would hit them things wide open. He said the faster you hit them, the less you'll feel them.
And I remember looking in the rearview mirror, and the only thing I seen was our old city cops whipping it around. See dust flying from majors, and I'm like, I can beat them home. I can beat them home. Because I lived outside the Caneyville limits, and at the time they had the kind of rules like the only way he could follow me outside the Caneyville limits was if he seen my taillights. So I shot out there. I don't even think I hit the brakes for the four-way. I just whipped down 62 and started driving, and we hit right where the old dam was, and he was about 3 car lengths behind me. Like about the time I'm going up that hill, he was coming around that curve over there by Richard's place, and I flipped the lights off and whipped in Richard's driveway, sat there for a few minutes, and I see him shoot across on the hill. And I pull out and drive like I've got some sense. And he sat down there at do stop waiting for me. And I just kind of smiled and waved. For the next probably month, every single time he seen me, he followed me home.
Yeah.
And I told this story on TikTok. And I shared it. I'm pretty sure I shared it on Facebook. And Mom's like, I know about that story.
Yeah. You kind of told on yourself again anyway. It's all right, though. We've all tried to elude and evade, as they say.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one time me and a couple of my buddies, we had, I can't even remember what size it was. It was probably like a little 85 or something four-wheeler. We had it in the back of a little Ranger, and we was all out frog gigging one night. We come out around Pine Knob, and we get to Pine Knob Road, and we look behind us, and we are like, guys, there's not a four-wheeler in the bed of this truck anymore. We don't know where it went. So we go back. We're on every little side road we hit looking for this four-wheeler. And I remember I was in I can't remember if I had my Jeep or if I was riding with one of my buddies at the time, but we was running back and forth up and down between like 6 houses trying to look in the ditch, thinking this thing's fell off and went in the creek or something. Well, next thing we know, we're running back down toward Pine Knob, blue lights. Well, there's like 3 of us in the bed of this Ranger, and we're thinking, hey, he ain't seen us yet. So we just duck down, and we're hiding in the tailgate. Well, my buddy, instead of trying to just giddy on up and go, he stops. Well, I'm like, we're stopping. He done knows we're back here, so we all kind of 3 just peek up out of the bed of that Ranger, and he's like, guys, what are we doing? And we're like, man, we're looking for a four-wheeler. Well, we've got a call. Y'all been running up back and forth in front of a house, and they were scared that it was somebody, trying to get them or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, man, we're just looking for a four-wheeler because we don't want nobody to hit it. Well, about the time we're talking him, here comes my other buddy rolling up, and they've got the four-wheeler in the bed of their truck. And the cop, he was cool, man. He was like, there ain't no drinking going on, which we was all 16, 17 years old, maybe even younger than that. And he was like, no, not unless Mountain Dew counts. He kind of just grinned at us, and he said, well, y'all just be careful. And he said, no more riding in the bed of the truck. It's kind of, that's kind of what this is based around, telling stories like that.
Just wild stories like that.
And they may not be funny or entertaining to anybody else, but they're core memories for us,
Oh, I've got a few.
I could sit here probably for the next 20 years and tell stories. I got enough of them.
I'm sure we'll tap into them stories.
Maybe we'll be doing a podcast for 20 years. Maybe, who knows? Maybe this thing will blow up. Maybe.
No, you got to think big. We'll have our own radio station.
Hey, now we're talking.
Yeah, we'll have our own radio station. They'll even be making movies about us.
Be kind of like Rick and Bubba.
Yeah, Rick and Bubba.
Yeah.
That's childhood memory right there.
Yeah, that was every morning riding up or waking up riding to Tammy's Play School in Litchfield.
Do you remember? I can't remember that guy's. He came on right around Rick and Bubba. He came on at 6 o'clock every morning, and he's sitting there and he's like, "You know what really grinds my gears?" And he would tell something random.
I can remember when I was little, it was like 105.7 or 95.2. I cannot remember, so don't take me verbatim on this, but there was always an old rock station my dad used to listen to, and every morning he told a joke of the day.
Yeah. And
I have heard and told some of the best jokes from that radio show, and people are like, "Where did you learn that?" I'd be telling these jokes when I was like 14, 15 years old, and people are like, that's a very mature.
You probably didn't know what the joke was about.
I didn't even know. I was just repeating what I heard on the radio station that morning.
From?
Hey, you ride enough miles in a big truck, or you cruise around the back roads with your dad long enough, you'll learn some things.
I know Dad. He always had the biggest problem, and I catch myself doing it now. Like you listen to the talk shows on the radio. Yeah. After you're in a vehicle for so many hours every single day, you get tired of the radio.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You're always looking at something new.
There's been times where I've been in that truck, and I'll even tell my wife, Katie, I'll be like, today was just one of them days where I didn't want to listen to nothing but that truck running down the road. It's because, no matter what new stuff comes out, it's just like with my brother. When he releases music, I get pumped. And I'm like, hey, we're going to listen to this. This song gets me going. This song gets me going. Makes my day go better. And then I'll listen to it and listen to it and listen to it.
Till you know all the words.
Till I know all the words of every song. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll switch it up to a next artist. Then I'll sit there and listen to that person. I'll learn all their songs. And I'm like, man, kind of just burn out on the radio for a little while. I'm getting tired of trying to, I've been listening to the same stuff since we was in middle school.
I have too. And that's kind of why I kind of got into the podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still... I get in a mood where I like the scary stories and stuff, and I'll sit there and listen to them. That's something from my childhood that, like, you remember the stories you don't tell in the dark or something like that. That book,
some murder mystery or something.
Yeah, I'm like, no, mine's always that supernatural stuff.
Yeah,
it was like, Then I listen to it so much, then I spook myself out.
Hey, that's like a while ago we was in here trying to play around with this thing, and the wind was blowing so hard it was moving the garage door. Sounded like a woman talking to us outside, and I had headphones in, and I still heard it, and I kind of looked at Jake, and I got a little weirded out for a second. He was like, is somebody here? I was like, it sure as heck sounds like it.
This place is haunted.
Yeah, well, and the voices we was talking in earlier, we probably conjured one up. I don't know what was going on with Jake. He sounded like he was on a whole nother level with his little demon voice there. But anyway, we like to have fun.
But yeah, I think we've rambled on.
Yeah,
I don't know how long
this one probably might not have been as good as the first take, but hey, like I said, we're figuring it out. We thought it'd be something cool to do. We obviously have plenty to keep us busy, but if we can catch a break, or, if there's somebody that, like I said, reach out to us. If you'd like to be a guest, pull up a chair, and we'd love to have you on. And like I said, there's no agenda, no schedule. We can talk and get to know you or get you on here and let you kind of promote yourself. Whatever it is that you've got going on, we'd love to hear about it.
So
I'm starting to get cold again. This little heater we hooked up here at her feet ain't doing nothing.
No, it's not. I'm getting cold too.
I'm about to have to go use the restroom. So
we'll holler at you next week, see what we're doing, and I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Catch y'all later.
Thanks for pulling up a seat to the Liars Table, guys. We'll catch you next time.